The twin suns of Arcani's prime burned low on the horizon, casting long crimson shadows over the jagged cliffs of the planet's northern rim. In the distance, the faint hum of anti-grav transports and the glint of military towers suggested a civilization teetering on the brink of chaos. Amidst this tumult, Lyra Voss, former Starship captain and renowned tactician of the Interstellar Defense Coalition, stood alone, her eyes fixed on the horizon. Her child, Cairo, was safe for now, but she knew danger moved faster than the blink of an eye in this sector of the galaxy. For weeks, Lyra had received cryptic messages, each one more threatening than the last. Unknown assailants had made it clear, "The child is yours. The galaxy is ours." Whoever these shadows were, they believed that by using her son as leverage, they could manipulate the outcome of the war spreading through the Orion sector. Lyra's hand tightened on the hilt of her plasma blade. She had once faced entire fleets single-handedly, but this was different. It was personal. Her child was involved. And for the first time in her life, the galaxy's fate rested not on her strategic brilliance, but on the protection of a small, fragile life. The threat arrives. It started subtly. Ships cloaked in the sector's standard stealth arrays would appear near her settlement on Thaler V, a mining colony at the edge of interstellar space. Lyra noticed them through the colony's detection grids, but the ships never fired. They watched, patient, waiting. One evening, as Lyra tucked Cairo into bed, a hollow message flickered to life in the room. The figure that appeared was masked, their voice distorted, yet unmistakably cold. "Voss, we know where he sleeps. One wrong move, and Cairo will become a warning to every system that dares to defy us. You have 48 hours to surrender the Helion Codex. Fail, and the galaxy will burn." The Helion Codex, an ancient archive of military intelligence capable of giving its possessor control over entire star systems. Lyra's pulse quickened. The Codex had been lost for centuries, thought destroyed in the Collapse Wars. Somehow, these people had recovered it. And now, they wanted her to hand it over, or her son would pay the price. Cairo, oblivious to the looming danger, clutched a small, hand-carved figurine of a dragon. "Mom, are they really going to take me?" he asked innocently. Lyra kissed his forehead. "No one will ever take you, Cairo. I promise." But promises felt fragile against the tide of interstellar threats. The first strike. By the next morning, the first strike came. Lyra's settlement on Thaler V wasn't large, but it was fortified. Energy shields hummed as plasma turrets sprang to life. The attackers didn't come in waves, they were precise, surgical. One squad dropped silently from orbit, disabling key power nodes and storming the colony's main tower. Lyra fought like a whirlwind. Every enemy she struck down revealed another, yet her mind was never on the fight itself. It was on Cairo. She ensured he was hidden in a subterranean vault beneath the cliffs, a place even she had only rarely visited. Hours later, the attackers withdrew, leaving behind a scene of devastation. One of the invaders' messages had been left on a scorched console. "You have 24 hours. The gravity of her situation pressed upon her. If she failed, Cairo wouldn't just be threatened. He would be dead. And if she succeeded, what price would the galaxy pay for her actions? A reluctant alliance. Desperation breeds alliances in the strangest ways. Lyra reached out to Cale Thorne, a mercenary with a notorious reputation for ruthlessness and a personal vendetta against a shadowy organization known as the Obsidian Dawn. Cale agreed to help, but only with one condition. Lyra had to accompany him on a mission that could be fatal. "We stormed the Dawn's flagship orbiting Xerxes station," Cale explained, his cybernetic eyes scanning the star maps. Codex or no codex, they won't hesitate to kill your boy. This is the only shot you've got. Lyra swallowed hard. The plan was risky, more than risky, but there was no other option. Then we go, she said, her voice steely. No one touches Cairo. The two boarded a stealth cruiser, the Nightwind, and plunged into the void. In hyperspace, Lyra sat quietly, her fingers brushing over a small pendant Cairo had given her, a dragon coiled around a star. I'll bring you back, she whispered. Infiltration and discovery. The Obsidian Dawn flagship, Eclipse, loomed like a black monolith in orbit around Xerxes Station. Lyra and Kale breached the station's outer defenses using cloaked drones, slipping silently past orbital turrets. Inside, they moved like shadows, navigating corridors lined with ominous red lighting. In the central command room, they found the truth. Cairo wasn't the only child threatened. The Dawn had been abducting children across multiple systems, using them as leverage to manipulate governments, star sectors, and mercenary alliances. The Helion Codex wasn't just a weapon, it was a control mechanism. Whoever held it could rewrite the political and military balance of the galaxy. Lyra's stomach turned. The stakes were far higher than she'd imagined. Her fight wasn't just personal anymore. The survival of billions depended on her next moves. The final confrontation. Lyra and Kale reached the containment bay, where Cairo and dozens of other children were held. The Dawn's commander, a tall, sinister figure known only as Valor, awaited. Captain Voss, he said, voice dripping with malice. Did you really think you could outmaneuver me? Lyra's plasma blade ignited with a hiss. Step aside, Valor, or you'll regret it. Valor laughed, and in a fluid motion, activated a barrier that enveloped the children. You'll have to go through me. The battle was brutal. Kale engaged Valor's elite guards while Lyra focused on disabling the barrier. Sparks flew, metal groaned, and alarms blared. Lyra's tactical mind calculated every step, every movement. She leveraged the environment, causing a chain reaction that overloaded the station's power nodes. The lights flickered, the barrier destabilized, and finally, with a precise strike, Lyra shattered it. Cairo ran to her, tears streaming. Mom, I've got you, she said, scooping him into her arms. Valor, furious, attempted one last desperate attack. But Kale intercepted, sacrificing himself to ensure Lyra and the children could escape. In a blinding explosion, the eclipse began to collapse. Aftermath. Lyra returned to Thaler V, Cairo safe in her arms, but the galaxy had already begun to feel the ripple effects of the confrontation. News of the Obsidian Dawn's tactics sparked widespread rebellion across multiple systems. Governments that had remained neutral were forced to confront the Dawn, and mercenary groups pledged allegiance to the Coalition for Protection of the Children. Lyra mourned Kale, a silent hero who had saved countless lives at the cost of his own. But she also realized the battle had awakened something in her, an unbreakable resolve that no threat, no matter how vast, could intimidate her into submission. Cairo, clutching his dragon pendant, looked up at her. Mom, did we win? Lyra smiled, brushing his hair back. Yes, Cairo. Today we won. But tomorrow, we make sure it never happens again. In the dark expanse of space, the twin suns of Arcani's prime rose once more, casting light on a galaxy scarred by fear but still resilient. One mother's courage had sent shockwaves across the stars. One child's survival had rewritten the destiny of countless worlds. And Lyra Voss, once just a soldier of the Coalition, became a symbol, a warning to any who dared threaten the innocent. The galaxy had paid attention, and it would never forget. Months passed since the destruction of the eclipse and the fall of the Obsidian Dawn. Lyra had returned to Thalervi, but life was far from peaceful. The children rescued from the Dawn were scattered across the galaxy, many orphaned or traumatized, and the Coalition began the long, painstaking task of reuniting them with families or providing safe homes. Lyra became deeply involved in this effort, not just as a warrior, but as a protector and advocate for the most vulnerable. Cairo, now older by mere months, but seemingly more aware of the galaxy's darkness, clung to Lyra as they walked through the rebuilding settlement. "Mom, will they ever come back?" he asked softly. Lyra shook her head, squeezing his hand. "No one who threatens the innocent comes back. Not while I'm alive." Her voice held a new layer of authority, one born not from rank or training, but from love and sacrifice. The echoes of war. Even with the Dawn dismantled, their networks lingered. Across the Orion sector, whispers of rebel factions, hidden caches of stolen weapons, and rogue mercenary groups continued to surface. But the galaxy was changing. Citizens of multiple systems, inspired by Lyra's courage, began to form local militias and community watch groups, ensuring no child or civilian would again be used as leverage. In the heart of the Coalition's command hub, a memorial was built for Cale Thorne and all those who had died resisting the Dawn. Lyra placed a hand on the polished black stone. "You saved my son, Cale, and in doing so, you saved the galaxy." Her eyes glimmered with tears, but also determination. The fight might be over, but the work of keeping peace was eternal. A mother's victory. One evening, as Lyra tucked Cairo into bed, he looked up at her with the same innocence that had haunted her through the crisis. "Will we ever go on adventures like before, Mom?" Lyra smiled, brushing his hair away from his forehead. "We will, Cairo. And maybe this time, the adventures will be ours to choose, not forced upon us by anyone else." Cairo smiled, clutching his dragon pendant. "I'm glad you're my mom." "I'm glad too," she whispered, leaning down to kiss him on the forehead. "And remember this, always. Courage isn't about fighting the galaxy alone. It's about standing up for those you love, even when it seems impossible." A galaxy forever changed. In the months that followed, the Coalition instituted new interstellar child protection protocols. The Helion Codex, once a weapon of potential domination, was secured and fragmented, its pieces hidden across multiple star systems under strict guard. The Orion sector slowly began to stabilize, a galaxy that had teetered on the edge of tyranny, now leaning toward hope. Lyra, once a soldier and tactician, now found her new calling: mentor, protector, and symbol of resistance. Across the sector, murals and holographic projections depicted a mother and her child standing fearlessly against impossible odds, a reminder that sometimes the bravest act in the universe is simply keeping someone safe. And while the threat of darkness would always linger at the edges of space, one truth remained unshakable. Where a mother stands, even the galaxy must pay attention. Lyra looked out at the stars from the cliffs of Thalervi, Cairo by her side, both safe, both unbroken. The twin suns rose over Arcani's prime, casting light on a future that, for the first time in many long years, felt full of promise.